Would you rather have Javonte Williams or Saquon Barkley? Pick a running back for me down in the comment section. I'm very curious to see what the numbers are going to look like, but at the surface level, who would you rather have? Should the Broncos trade for Saquon Barkley? We're going to talk about this along with some important injury news on Javonte Williams, but there is some drama brewing over in New York, and I do not think you can rule out the Broncos as a team that might pick up the phone, give the Giants a call and say, hey, we heard there's trouble in paradise with your running back. Maybe we could talk about a potential trade. I don't think this is an absolute done deal by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think Denver would be a team that would do their homework on Barkley. So here's the drama if you're not caught up to speed. The Giants and Barkley did not come to an agreement on a long-term deal before that deadline last Tuesday, and the Giants went out and kind of stuck a little bit of a middle finger-ish to Barkley by signing running back James Robinson, and that got a lot of Giants fans worked up, right? That sent some signals of, is this a move New York is making to prepare for a potential 2023 season without Saquon Barkley, and they might entertain an idea of trading him? Potentially. I think the possibility of Barkley getting moved is gaining a lot of speed and momentum, right? A few months ago, that seemed like close to zero. The Giants wanted to keep Barkley. Barkley wanted to stay in New York. There really was no trade discussion, but the last week has had a different tune to it, and I don't think there's a single Giants fan out there that can't accept the possibility of New York going, you know what? We've kind of had enough with this. Let's get a pick and let's roll with James Robinson this year. I don't think that's a very good plan, but I would not be blown away if that's at least a conversation that Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are having in East Rutherford. But I have a trade idea that I wanted to float out there, kind of get everyone's thoughts on it. But if there is a Saquon Barkley trade, what if it's a player swap, right? I don't think Denver's in a spot where they should be moving on from any picks or assets, but I think Courtland Sutton for Saquon Barkley could be interesting. The Giants need help at wide receiver. Sean Payton's the new guy in town. He's calling the shots. He did not draft Javonte Williams. So if Sean Payton has a crush on Barkley, he might decide we're loaded at wide receiver. Let's flip him for a player that I think could come in here and push this team over the edge year one. It also doesn't help for the Giants out there that the Saquon Barkley trade rumors were lit on fire after Barkley hopped on a podcast and somewhat ran his mouth. Here's what he said on the Money Matters podcast. My leverage is I could say, fuck you to the Giants. I could say, fuck you to my teammates and be like, you want me to show you my worth? You want me to show you how valuable I am to the team? I won't show up. I won't play it down. And that's a play I could use. Anybody who knows me knows that's not something I want to do. Is it something that's crossed my mind? I never thought I would ever do that, but now I'm at a point where I'm like, Jesus, I might have to take it to this level. And am I prepared to take it to this level? I don't know. That's something I have to sit down and talk to my family, talk to my team of advisors, and strategize about this. I think Saquon Barkley is a fantastic football player, but is this someone you want to trade for? I know I'm going to come across as some big boomer right now. And hey, here's my stance when it comes to running backs and the entire saga about not getting paid. Do they deserve to get paid more based on how productive they are? Yeah. I mean, the salaries and contributions to the team just do not equate, right? Tight ends are getting paid more, and they don't get half of the targets and the carries and the overall touches that running backs get. But when it comes to Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley throwing a pity party saying, poor me, I deserve more money. You do, but it's a little hard for the average NFL fan like you and I to look at this and go, yeah, we do believe you should get more than $22 million. 99% of the people watching this right now don't make $1 million, right? You guys are getting paid $21+ million more than we are every single year. So it's a bit hard for us to get our tiny, or it's a little easy rather, to get our tiny violin out and go, sure, the Raiders and the Giants are lowballing you guys a little bit, and you're better than $25 million, and you should be getting paid more than that, or whatever the number is. But also, understand, let's not act like $20+ million isn't a small number, right? That would be life-changing money for 99% of Americans. And I get it. You got to get the bag. You got to get paid while you can and all that stuff. But I don't like how we have that conversation, and then we also turn around and pretend like $20 million isn't a ton of money anyway. So that's sort of my 2 cents when it comes to the running back paying saga, and no pun intended on the 2 cents. But Barkley, the last 4 seasons, huge bounce back year last year. 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, was also very good through the air after 2 down years where he tore his ACL in 2020. He needed more time than just the offseason to recover. We saw that bleed into the 2021 season. But last year, he looked like the 2018 NFL Rookie Offensive Player of the Year. I think Barkley will be a great player even on a second contract. I don't think he's on that path of a Dalvin Cook or Joe Mixon type situation where you pay him and then you regret it 2 years later. I think he could still be a very effective player, kind of like Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey on their second contracts. But again, is Denver in a win-now window? Is Denver in a spot where they have the luxury of giving out big contracts to running backs? I don't think so. I also don't like the overused take of you don't win a Super Bowl with an expensive running back. Yeah, well, if you don't have Patrick Mahomes, you might have to go get a very good running back because Isaiah Pacheco is not leading the Broncos to a Super Bowl. But Barkley might, but also is Denver a running back away from going on a deep run? I don't think so. And they have a good running back in Javonte Williams. At least I hope they have a good running back. No one can really say definitively because we don't have a lot of tape on Williams. But for now, I'd rather Denver sit back a little bit, not be overly aggressive when they're not one move away in my eyes. Now, before we get on to the rest of today's video, the July sub battle with the Chiefs report is neck and neck. Let's take them down at the last moment. Help me take down the Chiefs report by subscribing, and in return, you guys get free daily Broncos content. It's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. So consider subscribing if you have not already. Now, talking about a running back that is on Denver's roster, Javonte Williams, a quick injury report here because Ian Rappaport tweeted out a very hard-to-read PDF of players put on the PUP list and the non-football injury list across the NFL. And I looked, and I didn't see Denver on it, which means I didn't see Javonte Williams on it, which means fingers crossed, but all signs are pointing to Javonte Williams starting training camp not on the PUP list. Which, if you told me that even a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I would not have believed you. Go back and look at old videos. I was pretty adamant and pretty confident that Williams would start the year off on the PUP list. So shout out to you, Javonte. I don't know if you use me as motivation. I hope so because it's a win for all of us. But very positive signs right now that Williams is not headed for the PUP list to start training camp because this team really needs him to deliver this season if they want to be successful. They got to find that 2021 version that put up 903 yards despite splitting carries down the middle with Melvin Gordon and turn those 203 carries into 275 carries. And then that 903 yards balloons up to 1,400 yards, 1,300 yards, and you get 4 rushing touchdowns turned into maybe 9 or 10 rushing touchdowns. That's the type of production they need from their running back room, and hopefully Williams can deliver the lion's share of that if this team is going to be successful, because I don't think Sean Payton took this job with the plan of let's ask Russell Wilson to throw it more than he did last year to get this team back to the win column. So predict it for me. Over or under 1,000 yards for Javonte Williams this season. I would have said under not long ago because I just didn't think he'd be healthy enough to get enough carries to get to 1,000 yards. But now it looks like he's going to be ready to go week 1 if he's not even on the PUP list to start training camp. And if he really is, even just 90% week 1, yeah, put me in for the overs club, baby. Now you can also lock me in for being a big fan of this Broncos retro t-shirt. The sale continues, but you guys know how Fanatics work. These sales can come and go, so I don't want you guys to sleep on this and miss on it. So get your very own Broncos retro t-shirt today by going to chatsports.com/DENretro. I've included that link in the comments and the description of today's video. Some NFL news that pertains to our Broncos that I wanted to share with you guys here. Adam Schefter tweeted out today, running back deal, veteran free agent Melvin Gordon reached agreement today on a 1-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I'm not here to wish ill will to Melvin Gordon. I know things did not end well, and he was kind of blunt about it. I mean, Melvin Gordon had some comments on the way out at the door, but I hope he is, successful in Baltimore. I hope he has a good rest of his NFL career, but I'm glad it's not Denver giving him $3.1 million because I saw way too many fumbles. That's almost $1 million a fumble. They are almost paying him $1 million to fumble. That's how I just read that contract. So we'll see how it works over in the Charm City. Time for my summer hot take today is 84 degrees in Denver, which gets us a nice warm plate take. You know what I'm talking about? The waitress comes out, puts your plate down, and goes, "Oh, slow down, mister. It's a hot plate. You don't want to jump on that too quickly." So my hot plate take today is I think the Broncos are going to add a running back before week 1. I know that we just got really good Javonte Williams injury news, and I'm very excited about that. But I still look at that running back room, and for a 90-man roster, only having 5 backs on it, it's a bit skinny. So my prediction is Denver's not going to go out necessarily and get a Zeke or a Leonard Fournette or Kareem Hunt. But as the rest of the NFL makes roster cuts, they will be very vigilant on looking at other running backs getting cut and saying, hey, one man's trash is another man's treasure. We could use another running back here in the Mile High City. So I think another running back gets added before week 1. That will do it for us on today's show. Enjoy your weekend, everyone, and we will catch up later.